So for everybody joining, I'm a professional psychic medium, and I was going to start having guests and doing a live reading for them so you guys can see me in real time do a reading. Okay, so do you have any questions before we start?
No.
No? Okay. And you have a picture of someone you want to reach if we start connecting with somebody else, just in case, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I have my computer so I can get it via email if we need it. All right. So I'm going to try and see what I'm getting first. And then
Okay.
I'm going to start writing a little bit and then we can kind of go back and forth.
Sounds good.
So I know there's three people around you for sure. There might be four. And I do have one female, one male so far. And is there someone specific that you want to connect with right now?
Yes.
Is it a female?
Yes.
Is this an elderly woman?
Yes.
She has birds, by the way. So if you hear that, she has a bird rescue. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry. I tried to put in the earbuds so that they wouldn't be a distraction. Usually they're going to sleep by now, but they're pretty wound up.
Is this your grandmother or somebody like a grandmother to you?
I hope so. Yes.
Okay. And I just heard I've been waiting a long time for this. So has she been passed for a while?
2022.
Okay. And so I'm going to describe her physically. I do feel like she wore glasses sometimes. She is about she's a little bit smaller framed in her older years, like as an elderly woman. She has it looks like grayish white hair, and I think it's about down to here. It's super long. It feels like it had that style, and then she ended up having to go shorter.
Um, Shorter. Always short.
She had to go shorter.
She was always short.
Always shorter? Okay. And that just might be the way that I'm perceiving it. Did she wear glasses sometimes? Okay, because I do feel like it's not just like a reading glasses. It looks a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's not so I'm 5'10", but I feel like she's smaller than me in height. It feels like she's probably 5'4", maybe.
She was 4'9".
Oh gosh, she's very short. I was about to say I feel like she's shorter, but I didn't want to be like, okay, she's like this big. And I just heard the word spitfire. Like I feel like she can be very feisty.
Um, yeah, she could a little bit.
And when I say that, I mean she's not afraid to stand up for herself or for people that she loves.
Right. She would always tell me that I was Spitfire. That I was feisty.
I just heard that we're not supposed to be doing this technically, and I think that means like a religious thing. like almost like you wouldn't have believed in this in life. And she's like, this would have been very convenient if I had known that this was real in life. And she's like, I wish that I would have been a little more open to other things in life because of her faith. It kind of like closed some things in for her as far as like believing in other things or being open minded to other things. It feels like she was very much like a faithful woman in whatever
She
was.
was. She was very, very religious.
And it feels like she also like she didn't question it.
She did not
Like she
at
was
all.
like, this is how it is, this is what I've been taught, and this is what it is. Like she
Yes.
truly believed that. And I do believe that she felt like it was important to get other family members involved in her faith as well.
Yes.
A very big part of her life. And I feel like she was very involved with that community as far as like helping out and stuff like that. I do believe that she, especially in her older years, would like help out with events and stuff that they would host and be there to help around services and stuff like that.
She cooked a lot for the church.
Okay. Okay. And is she from the South? Okay. She's from this area or close by?
Yes.
Okay. So we're in Rock Hill, South Carolina, everybody. So
She was from Kershaw or Lancaster, He's
that's
Springs
about
area.
what, like an hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Because she has a very southern accent.
Hmm.
And it's very kind of light. Like as in like I have a pretty aggressive protruding voice. Hers is not as much. It's very like calm and like that.
Hmm.
It feels very calm and more like just like quieter and volume wise.
Right. She was.
I do feel like her family like lineage has been here for a long time.
Yes. I actually live on the property where they grew up.
Okay. And did her family have something to do with farming at some point? Like maybe when she was younger, when she was a really young child? Okay, because
Yes.
I am
They grew
starting to see.
watermelons.
Okay, yeah, because I'm starting to see farmland. And it does look like there's some animals too, but it's not like, it's not like a cattle farm, but they did have like
Right.
chickens. And it does look like there might be, is it some goats or something like that?
I'm
Or
not
small.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. And there was a barn. It's a pretty big barn. But she's like, it's falling down now.
It's a very small barn, and I
Okay,
was
it
just at
looks
it.
bigger to me. It's like, um, hold on. It looks like what you see in like little kids' books, like a barn.
Yes. It's in the woods, and I was just at it last week.
Okay, and it feels like it's starting to like really, like the years are
Collapse.
taking its toll on it. Yeah, it's like it's kind of falling in on itself.
Yes, it's collapsing.
Yeah, she's like, it's a mess now.
Yeah.
But it was something that was very important to them when she was a child.
Yes.
And I do feel like the house that she lived, is it the same house you said you're in now?
I live on the land, but I live
Okay.
bes
Like close
I do,
to it?
and so it could be one of three women that you're talking to.
Okay.
Um, it would have been my great grandmother, my grandmother, or my great aunt, and that would they would have been sisters, and then their mother. and
Okay.
all have passed. One has been passed since I was 3, but she was taller, and so was my aunt. My aunt was taller. My granny was the only one, and I could send you a picture of all three of, or two of them.
Okay. Which one was about 5 years old when this farm was still operating but had been there for a while? So I'm thinking maybe like this was in like the like 20s, 30s, 1920s or 1930s.
My granny was born in the 40s, and her sister was born, I think, in the 40s as well.
Okay, so I'm so that would be your just grandma, not great grandma, correct?
Cor- Correct, my grandmother and my aunt.
I think this is your grandmother. And she's saying that they had a very small house on the property. It looks like a one story,
Hmm.
and it's very like just kind of like a box. Like it's not anything crazy.
Yeah,
And
and it,
that does feel like there's a little porch on the front.
yes,
And you walk in, and it's kind of like a hallway at first, and there's like stuff on either side.
it when you walk in, it's the living room, and then the bedrooms go off, and then there's a kitchen.
Okay, because
It's not like a hallway, but you walk into the living room.
it kind of feels like a mill house.
Yes.
So you would walk in, and there's kind of like a little spot that you would kind of like a little front entryway that you would put your stuff. Like as
No,
far as like
it's
it's not like I don't mean like, and I'm not saying like a long hallway or anything. It looks like there's a little bit of space before like the first room,
it all walked. Time you walked in, you were straight in the living room,
right in the living room.
and
And
then
is this a one bathroom?
yes,
Okay, one full bath.
yes,
And are the bedrooms on the right side?
yes,
Okay. Because it feels very much like we would go this way if we were coming home. And I think like for
yes.
her to like put her stuff down, it would be this way. So to me, it's opposite for you. I look probably looks like I'm going to the left, but I mean to the right. I feel like, and that house was built definitely the generation before her.
It's still there. Yes, it's
Okay.
beside me.
Was this so? This must have been built in like either the late 1800s or early 1900s.
Um, I'm not sure when that was built.
Okay. Um, she's saying that she wants to kind of like switch to what she's talking about. She wants to talk about her death. Is that okay with you?
Yes,
It was very hard on you. She's
yes,
like, it was hard on everyone. She was like, but we had a very special bond between you two, you and your grandmother.
yes,
And hello. And she's saying that because of that, it's almost like she babysit you a lot or you were just with her a lot when you were younger?
yes,
Okay, because I see like her as an adult and then having like a small girl with her all a lot. And it looks like they're doing everything together. She's like, everywhere I went, she went. If I had to go get groceries, she came with me. If I had to cook, she was cooking with me. She was like, she goes, she was my little shadow. She said, and she always asked why. Always had questions. Always. Why? Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Where are we going? And she said, but she loved that about you because you were so like just interested in life and just asking questions. And she was like, you were like a little sponge, like you just wanted to learn.
yes,
And she said you were a very like happy child, but a
yes.
lot of energy.
Yeah, I talked a lot. Yeah,
Yeah. And do you have some of her cooking stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, she's like, she has my cooking, some of my cooking items, like some of my favorite things that I used to cook with. And I think these are like, are they certain like casserole dishes or something like that? It's something very specific.
It's her biscuit.
Okay. Yeah, because it looks like something that you would like. When I said casserole dishes, it's because it looks like it's something that would go in an oven. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And do you have her recipes as well?
Yes.
And it's in a. Do you have it in like a very small like container that you like kind of like sort through?
My mom has the containers. I have pictures of them. I want them.
Okay. Because she's like it's something that like you would pull out and it's a mess. Like the cards have crap all over them. And she was like, but we use those. She's like, the paper looks like it's about damn near fall apart,
Yeah.
but you can sort through them and find like what you need. And
Yes.
and she was like, and some of those were passed down from my mom.
Yes, they were.
And you said biscuit pan, correct?
Yes.
Does she have a very specific way that she makes her biscuits? Because
Yes.
she's saying right now, like, don't mess up my biscuits. Like there's a very specific way that you have to do it, and like, and it's almost not even the ingredients are weird, but the process is a very specific process.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know shit about making biscuits. I don't even think, but she is saying that
I
she's like
make
it's very
rocks. I
yeah.
can't make biscuits.
She's like there's a sequence that you have to go in,
Yeah.
and you can't skip like certain steps or they'll come out bad. She's like they go
Yeah.
flat.
Yeah. My daughter knows how to make them, my 15-year-old, but I cannot
Okay.
make a biscuit to save my life.
Like they're supposed to be like fluffy and airy.
Yes.
And she's like, and if you miss those steps or you do them in the wrong order, they get flat and hard and gross.
Like a rock. Yes.
Yeah. And she's like, and I pride myself on those.
And she did.
Okay. And I feel like she had a little apron too that she had like was it like hanging up that she would put on to wear to do her little stuff.
And I have her apron that she wore at work.
Okay. She's showing me a very specific apron. It looks like it has like some patterns on it, but it's been washed so many times it's kind of fading. Is it? And it kind of looks like 70s colors, if that makes sense, like that kind of time frame. As
Yes.
far as like more earth tones or oranges and
Well,
stuff like that.
I have two of them. Yes. One was her personal apron and one was her work apron.
Okay. She's like, sorry, I just got off topic. We were supposed to be talking about my death, and here we are talking about my aprons again.
And that would be her. She would be apologetic
She's
about
like, I'm a
everything.
true Southerner, can't help it. Got distracted. Doesn't help that I have ADHD, so okay, back to her death. I got sick, very sick. I feel some coughing. Did she have did this come off as like kind of like a cold and then she found out that it was something else?
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
Okay. I heard and felt some coughing, so maybe that's related to something else. I'm gonna write it down just in case. But I do feel there's a lot of weakness, like physical weakness.
Yes.
Um, getting very like tired very quickly.
Okay.
And she's like, I did not feel good. I wasn't acting like myself.
Mhm.
And it also feels like she had some problems with memory, communicating towards the end. It's almost, it
Yes,
feels kind of like dementia.
that's exactly what she.
Okay. Because she's like, I started to have problems being able to, like, just voice like very small things. Like it was just very difficult for me to be able to say like what I meant or what I wanted.
Yes,
Um, and there was a lot of confusion in her own head. And she could tell that like something wasn't right, but she didn't know why. It's like it's almost
right,
like the disease was like um she was like, I would be saying something and I would look at my family members and they would tell me that doesn't make sense, but to me it was weird that it didn't make sense to them.
right.
And she was like, and it just made things very, it was a very confusing time for me, and it was very difficult to go through
Hmm.
because I just felt like I didn't have control over my own body and thoughts.
Yes,
And she was like, and I would get flustered and irritated,
she would.
and I felt bad for kind of like snapping at people.
Yes, yes.
And was it your mother that was there with her, like caring for her? Because I do see a female that is caring for her during this time.
Yes, my mother.
Okay. And she's saying that like she did so much for me.
She did.
And she even put herself in jeopardy to help me because she had to spend so much time helping.
Yes, yes,
And I think she means like jeopardy as in like you can't keep taking off of work, or like
yes,
financially it was taking a toll on her to be there.
yes, it was.
She was like, it meant the world to me that she didn't care about that. It was about me being okay and making sure
Yes,
that I had everything that I needed. And I do feel like she was alone there. Like your mother was alone there with her a lot. Because it feels like she's saying there was a lot of weight on her shoulders, like day to day, like all day throughout the day. And it was very difficult for her. And there were times
yes,
that she would kind of just like break down because it was just a lot.
yes, she would. Yeah.
And she's like, will you please tell her that I said thank you? Please tell her that I know every single thing that she did. And she's also saying, please tell her too that I heard her when she didn't know if I was there or not still. And I think she means she didn't know if she was like mentally able to hear her or not. So it's almost like she's kind
Okay.
of very out of it. I think this
Right.
is more closer to death. And she's saying that she would have conversations with me and she didn't know if I could hear her or not. And I could.
Okay.
I want her to know that I heard her and I'm thanking her for the things that she said. I think your mom gave her permission, like to move on. Did your mom give her permission to move on?
Yeah.
Because she's like, her giving me permission made me feel like I didn't have to stay anymore and it made me comfortable with leaving my
Me
body.
and my mom. Me and my mom both give her
Okay.
permission.
She's like, that was a very big thing to me was being able to get permission. And she was like, I was trying to hang on as long as I could because I didn't know if you guys were going to be okay with my passing. But I also felt very guilty with all the stuff I had to, put on you guys day to day because of the physical state. So being able to get that permission was like opening a door. And she finally felt like safe and like it was okay for her to move on. And she is around you a lot. And she said that you're very much aware that she's around too. She's like, don't act like you haven't seen my side. because you
I,
have seen my signs.
I
Have these
dream about her.
come to you in dreams?
I dream about her about 3 times a week.
Okay, because she's like like she knows I'm around. So I think she does, definitely comes to you in dreams, but she's saying that you've heard her voice too.
Yeah.
Like in your house, you've heard her voice and like looked around because it was like her voice.
Yes, I have.
And there's something else too that's like a sign for you. And when you see it, you think of her. And I'm trying to think of what it is. Did she like butterflies or birds? Because there's something
Sorry.
with either both of those or one of them. Okay?
Yeah, just kidding. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Red Cardinals is how I.
Cardinals, okay. And I know that's like the universal symbol for people's houses. But she's saying like there's a certain, and I couldn't tell, it was something that was flying, so I didn't know if it was a butterfly or a bird, but it's like when you see that like out and about or just like randomly outside, like that's something that you recognize that she's checking in on me. Like you associate that with her.
Yes, that's the reason why I got into bird rescue.
Oh, okay. That makes sense now.
Because the birds made me think of angels flying, and they reminded me of my grandmother. So I was not an
Oh.
animal. I was not an animal person at all before my grandmother passed. I didn't like animals. I didn't tolerate them or anything.
And she's like, I'm so glad you're not that way anymore because I love animals. She says that there's sometimes where you see like multiple cardinals or you see like multiple of them and you think, oh my God, that's like the two of them or the three of them. It feels like there's two or
Yes,
three that you see together and you're like, wow, what a rare occurrence to see that many. And you really think
yes,
that's my family now.
yes.
And she's saying like that is. She's like, when you notice that, that is us.
I figured it was.
And she's also saying, I'm very proud of you because you made it out of a very dark place in your life. You had a very, very dark place at one point, and I think this was like mentally struggling, maybe like
Yes,
like depression. And she was saying, I was very worried. I don't know if we were going to make it out. Like it was that bad.
yes,
And she's like, no, people don't know this. Like this is not something that you advertise. And she was like, I was really worried for her because I didn't know if we were going to make it out. But eventually you were able to, she's like, you kind of took accountability in a way and realized that like, I'm not being me, something's wrong. And like, you reached out for help.
yes, I did.
You realize like, I can't keep going on. Like, took accountability and said, something's wrong and I need to do something about it. And she's like, there's so many people that don't do that. And you should be very proud of yourself that one, you recognized it, and two, you decided to do something about it, and then you actually did, and you were able to pull yourself out. And she was like, I'm very, very proud of you doing that.
Yes,
And she's also saying, I'm proud of you for the way you are as a mother. She's like, you are a little harsher than I am, but your children are a lot feistier than the ones that I had to deal
they
with.
are. They are.
And she's like, but you have good kids. You have good
Yes,
babies, and it's because you care so much about them. She says you don't do anything without thinking about them.
that is true.
And she's like, sometimes you get overstimulated,
Yes,
but you're good at because of, have you been in therapy?
no,
Okay. She's saying whatever you did to pull yourself out of that dark place, it's like giving you education on that to where you can
yes,
like recognize that I'm like getting overstimulated and I need to calm down. And you are able to pull yourself back from that instead of acting.
Yes. Anxiety and panic attacks. I've learned different techniques to pull me out of them.
Okay. And she's saying that that's a very good skill, and she's proud of you for doing that as well, especially like in parenting, because it can be a lot and you recognize when it is getting to be a lot and you're able to kind of like come back from that.
I walk my girls through panic and anxiety attacks to keep them from getting over anxious.
Oh, okay. So they have it too then.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So
And
she may
and
be
I
referring to you yourself, or she may be referring to how you do it with them.
yes, I do it quite
So,
frequently when the breathing techniques and stuff like that to pull them out of an anxiety attack.
okay. She's saying that she's that and she's there with you when those things happen, and she's very proud of like how you handle it.
Yes.
And so I miss our dates. You guys used to like have dates where you would go do stuff together.
Every when I was growing up, every Friday night I would meet to go her at her work to go home with her for the weekend.
Oh, okay. Because she's
And
like, I miss our dates, like our time, like that we would like set
yeah.
aside, like this was what we were gonna do.
Yeah, even after I had my oldest daughter, on the nights that my husband was at work, I would go down there and spend the night with my child at her house.
She loved that.
Yes,
That was so important to her. She
yes,
loved that so much. She's like, I miss being able to do that with you guys,
yes,
being able to be like physically present.
yes,
And has one of your daughters seen her, like her
yes.
spirit? Okay, she's like, please don't be scared. I did not mean to scare her.
My oldest daughter sees her quite frequently
Okay,
and
she's like,
feels
I
her.
don't want her to be scared. She's like, I love them so much and I want to check in on them and I want them to know that I'm here and I love them, but I don't want to scare them. And sometimes they get scared.
Yeah, they know she's here.
I think it's almost like she's trying to like they're sleeping or something or getting ready for bed, kind of like decompressing. And that's when she like comes around to check in on them just to be like, hey, are you guys okay? And then she doesn't even realize that they can see her. And then she's like, oh shit. Like, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I didn't mean to scare you. She says, but I wouldn't have said shit.
she would not.
She
She
said
did
I would
not
not have
cuss at
said shit.
all.
She was like, she said shit, not me.
She did not cuss. She didn't drink. She didn't do drugs. Like
Okay,
she
she
was
said,
very
I
not.
have a bad mouth. And she's like, I would have not said that.
Yeah,
She
she did not.
literally corrected me. It was like,
And she would have corrected you in person too to not say that.
that makes sense. Because she immediately was like, I would not have said that. She did it in a nice way, but like, she definitely
Right.
was like, ma'am. And do you have a grandfather like her husband that has passed as well?
Yes.
Okay, they're together. Because she's like, he's with me. Don't worry about it. We're together. And he looks taller than her,
He
like
was.
significantly taller.
What color hair are you seeing?
I'm sorry.
I don't know if it would be my grandfather or my uncle with her.
Okay. It's an elderly man.
So that would be my grandfather.
Okay. He has like the bigger, very like thin framed glasses on.
That would be my uncle then.
This guy is, and he has a full head of hair.
That would be my uncle.
Okay, so then I guess she's with your uncle.
He was mentally handicapped.
Oh, okay. Because she's like, he's with me, and he's a lot taller than she is,
Yes. Yes.
and he's still with her, and he's smiling. He's very happy. Like he seems very happy. Like his the feeling about him is very like his vibes are very like warm and kind.
Yes. Hmm.
And did he like cars?
Not that I know of, no.
Because I've all of a sudden I got an image of like Matchbox cars almost for a second, and I don't know if
Mm-mm.
that's maybe something that he did when he was younger.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Um, but he's not really saying much. It doesn't
I'm
feel
gonna
like he said a whole lot, but he is there with her.
I'm gonna send you two pictures real quick because I want to know which one it is.
Okay. All right. So she's gonna email me, you guys, and I'm not doing any Google image searching or anything like that. I'm just that way I can see her pictures without stopping this live. If
See.
you guys have any questions while we're doing this email, please feel free to ask them. Hey, Samantha. Okay, let me go to my. You're sending it to my Gmail.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna just go ahead and send you all of them, okay? Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
It's gonna be several.
Okay. Where is my Gmail? There it is. Like I'm not on it a billion times a day. Like I don't know where to go. I wish I could share my screen. See, on Zoom, I'm able to share my screen when I'm doing stuff. But I tried to do TikTok on my laptop, and it was like, no, just straight up, no, was not having it. Let me know when it goes through, and I'll refresh it.
Okay. I'm pulling your email now.
This is my first live reading, guys. Isn't that exciting?
I'm so excited and so thankful.
I mean, technically, when I do like a private reading with somebody like via Zoom. I've never like done a reading for them before, so it's like the same thing, but like I've never done that like to the mass public. So I was so nervous. I was like, "Oh my God, what if I fuck this up?"
Granny's gonna get you.
I know. She's not like that F bomb. She's not a fan of that. I'm sorry, I have a bad mouth. It just is the way it is.
I sent them.
Okay, let me refresh. Okay, I got it. Okay, so you're asking me to tell you if who I'm seeing, the male, is your uncle, correct?
There, yes, I sent my grandfather's and my uncle and my husband's grandfather because I'm trying to figure out which male it may be.
The second picture, the one holding a figurine,
Yes.
that's the man I'm seeing.
Um, Holding a
I don't
figurine.
know if you want me to show it or not.
Yeah, it's okay if you show it.
Okay, this one.
That is my Uncle Chris. Yes.
Okay, so that's the one that I'm seeing beside her.
That is her son. Yes.
Did he usually have glasses on?
Yes, and I just didn't have the picture with his glasses on.
Okay, because I was like, he's supposed to have glasses on. Like,
Y- Yes, and I can actually send you another. I actually just pulled that one off of Facebook. But let me see. I'm
okay,
going to show you this picture, and this probably is what you're seeing.
okay, and is this your grandmother and grandfather?
Yes,
Okay. So your grandmother, that's definitely the woman I've been talking to. I have not seen your grandfather yet, just to
yes.
be honest.
He was my step grandfather. Yes,
Okay, I have not seen him. It doesn't mean that he's not around. I just haven't seen
absolutely.
him yet.
And
Okay.
that's
You said you're
um,
sending another one of your uncle.
I'm fixing to show you if I can get it to come up. Can you see that on here, Crystal?
Oh, on. Please, sorry. Oh, yes, that would make sense because they were bigger glasses.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
they were. I call them Coke bottle glasses. Yes,
Yes, they're big. Okay, so that makes sense because I was like, this person does not have glasses, but that looks like him.
yes, that was him. He had broke his glasses in that before that picture.
Okay. Is there any more, like, do you have any questions, Ashley, for like your grandmother or anything before we kind of like close off since we did speak with her earlier?
Um, I just want to know that she's at peace.
So I mean, she's very happy and like healthy and looks like a totally normal person. I mean, in the way she's communicating, she is not communicating as somebody that still has like those mental ailments. So to me, she looks very much just like her normal, like running around the kitchen self.
Hmm.
So I think that she is at peace. I mean, and she explained earlier when she was talking about you gave me permission, like when you
Yes,
gave her permission, that gave her peace to move on. Like remember when we said it opened up a door for her.
yes.
So for me, that means yes, absolutely in peace. I mean, the fact that she comes to your dreams and visits you and isn't like saying anything like in a negative way. It's very like giving you advice or checking in on you or letting you know I'm here, I love you. To
Hmm.
me, that's also someone that would be at peace.
Okay.
Do you have anything else before we go?
Was there anybody else that's lingering?
I did feel like there was another female with her, but I never truly saw her. It's almost
Hmm.
like kind of like a shadow of a person. So it's like I know there's somebody there, but they never really came forward. So I don't know who that person is. I do feel like it is a woman, like
Okay.
the energy feels like a woman. I know you said earlier that was it your grandmother that had a sister?
Yes, my grandmother. We were all really close. My grandmother, her sister, which would have been my great aunt,
Okay, so maybe that's who it is. I
and
don't
her
know.
mother.
So I don't want to say that that's.
Absolutely.
Um, I only want to say who I think is there because I'm like I can see it and describe it and you can verify it.
Hmm.
But I don't have any like physical description of that person, so I don't feel comfortable saying who it is. But I do believe it is a female, and I do believe it is a family member connected to you, and I do think it is somebody that would be familiar with your grandmother because they're. It's not like they're standing like apart from each other; they're like a
Hmm.
group.
Right.
So I think that
It's probably a family member. It's probably her
it's
sister or
probably
her
a family
mother.
member. Yeah. And maybe they're just like, I'm just not comfortable coming forward yet. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
understand that. There was just one more person that I was hoping was going to come forward, but I understand that.
well, and sometimes they wait until later on just because like this
Right.
is a lot all at once.
Yes.
It's a lot of information to take in and process. So they come like if you have a reading again, then they show up like front and
Hmm.
center. But sometimes I have seen that they like one person comes through and you can see that there's other people, but they kind of like, okay, well, let's let them process that. And then the next reading, that person's like right there.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of like what's going on here, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I'm sorry for not having a better reading for Anthony's mom. She was just not having it.
Yeah. And
Sorry, I was trying to pry information out. She was like, no.
yeah, she wasn't gonna.
She was not having it. I mean, I'm glad that it happened though, so people can see that like sometimes they're just not, you know, you might want to talk to that person and they're just like, no.
And a lot of it may be that he's not open to it. He's not.
That is too. Like when you have somebody that you're doing a reading for and like skepticism, absolutely, but you have somebody that is like not willing to really be open minded about it, it
Right.
kind of puts up like this mental block, like a
Yes.
wall. It's hard to like get information out, you know?
Absolutely. Hmm.
And I think that if you have somebody like that,
Or
their
not wanting you to
spirits,
be right.
yeah, their spirits are going to know that and they're going to be like, no, like they're uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to, you
Hmm.
know? Um, but I mean, your grandma was like, hey. She was really easy.
She was the
to
main.
go to.
She was the one person that I wanted to talk to. I actually.
That's good.
Had her
He says
glasses
we're
with me.
celebrating tomorrow.
Huh?
He says we're celebrating tomorrow.
Yes.
So she's
Tomorrow
excited to celebrate with you tomorrow.
tomorrow is my birthday, my mom's birthday, and my nephew's birthday.
Oh wow. I knew that you had your birthday tomorrow, which is why we
Mhm.
did this today, but I had no
Yes.
idea that it was everybody else's.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, she's like, we're celebrating tomorrow.
Yes. We all three of us have a birthday tomorrow.
Have you ever had a reading done before?
No.
Okay, so what is your honest feedback? I know we're on live, but I'd rather like your honest feedback of the whole thing now that you've had one.
It was a blessing. It was felt like a weight lifted off my shoulder. Um I miss her terribly, and um she was like my best friend. And so to know that she is good, to know that she's watching over me, to know that, my uncle is there with her and that she's at peace, it really lifts a weight off my shoulder.
Right. It's like you always hope that the people you love are like okay on the other side or
Yeah.
like that certain people are together, but you never have like that confirmation.
Right.
So it's almost like you have that confirmation now. So it's like something that you don't have to like always worry or wonder about
Right.
anymore. I've heard a lot of people say that for them that like just knowing made it to where like the grief wasn't so heavy anymore.
Yeah. There was one thing that I wanted of hers that somebody else has, and maybe one day I'll get it. But um and that was her Bible. Um I wanted that, but my mom has it right now.
You just said the biscuits are just as important.
Mhm. Well, I have her glasses. I took her glasses off of her before we closed the casket, and I have those and I keep those with me.
Okay. Yeah, because she said she's like she has my stuff.
Yeah, I
So
do.
she's
I have
very
some
much
stuff.
aware of that. And she was like she felt like to me when she said that, I felt a feeling of like comfort.
Yes.
So that made me feel like that she was portraying like that makes me feel good that she has my stuff.
Yes. I have her glasses. I have her biscuit baking sheet. I have two of her aprons. Um,
And some of her recipes, or your mom has
my
the
mom. I
recipes.
have pictures of the recipes. My mom has the actual box,
Yeah, yeah,
but
because she
she,
showed it like a little
yep,
card
a
box.
little metal tin. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she
Well,
had two
thank
of them.
you so much for doing this with me today. This was
Well,
my
thank
first
you.
one doing it live.
It was an amazing experience. I would
Thank
highly,
you.
highly recommend. Highly
Thank
recommend.
you. I have. I'm excited to start doing these lives so that people can actually see in real time what it's like.
Yeah.